Okay. Done. Ready.
Boom.
Boom.
Greatest start to the podcast ever.
You know, we really. You know what's funny about every time.
Freddie Prinze.
Josh Wolf.
Prince of the Wolf.
You know what's funny? Every time I hit that record button,
There's an awkward.
I wish people. Well, you can see it now.
Now they can.
Because we both look at it like, is this how this works?
No, I don't even try. That one's all you. I just wait. If I tried, then I would have the same look, but I know that that's not my forte. So I say, you remember Dirty Harry when he said, a man's got to know his limitations. I know my limitations.
The record button is your limitations.
Technology, there's a wall right here, and I won't cross it.
What's very interesting is that, like, I am the same way, but I know, like,
You'll go
one of
into the
us has to.
biosphere. You'll go into the biodome.
Just not well.
Because you have, like, the protective suit. I do not have the suit, so I'm not allowed to go into the biodome. I'll bring my human contaminants in and corrode the environment, and then nothing will work. The environment being the podcast machine. I don't even know what it's called.
I believe it's
the
called
podcast machine.
The podcast machine. Are you, when you say biodome, are you referencing that cinematic classic Pauly Shore movie?
They would be referencing what scientists would call a biodome, but sure.
What is...
I like that's where your head went.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you a question that I don't know if there's a right answer to.
Okay, let's do it.
The best Pauly Shore movie.
Man, I haven't seen all of them, but it's probably the one...
Encino Man?
No, oh yeah, that's probably the one.
With Brendan Fraser?
With Brendan, yeah. Yeah, I think that'll be I've only seen like 2 or 3. I saw the one where he was like the son-in-law.
Which I think was called Son-in-Law.
Okay. I saw the...
Yeah, no, well, that's a well-named movie if you remember that and that.
I saw the one where he was in the army and was kind of bummed out that he had to be in the army.
Was that Private Benjamin?
No, that one was
Goldie Hawn.
That was actually a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
And then the Encino guy.
Yeah.
But I only saw that on TV. I probably haven't even seen the whole thing. It's not my kind of movie, man. There's no spaceships. There's no weird creatures. There's no like sword fights or And I guess it's a comedy. I like comedies.
Although I would love to see a movie where Pauly Shore is sword fighting.
Like a swashbuckler.
Yeah, like a Three
movie.
Musketeers and Pauly.
And Paul.
Yeah, like so, like the Three Musketeers would come through.
They play it legit.
Yeah.
And then they just have to deal with this guy that's like.
That actually would make me laugh. If like these 3 swashbucklers.
We shall save you, fair maiden. Yo, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Who is this foul creature? You're so stupid. What do you want to talk about today?
Three Musketeers and
What do
the
you want to talk
Weasel?
about? We're not spending 20 minutes on Three Musketeers and the Weasel. What do you want to talk about today?
Yo, let me just say one last thing.
Oh God.
I know the guy who does the mock-ups for our show.
Uh-huh.
Please do a cartoon version, animated, like, the posters of Three Musketeers and the Weasel. That's all I'm saying. Send one our way. Have the Three Musketeers with me, Freddie, and John, and then throw the Weasel in there.
Or don't.
Or do. I mean, why not?
Sure, man. That's good.
What are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about...
Comic-Con.
Yeah, which
Comic-Con
you were at.
Adventures. Yeah, man. I haven't been for a little while.
Did you take a train or you drive down?
I just drove, man. I just drove. I prefer that. I like having the wheel to my car.
Do you like and when you drive, do you like driving by yourself?
It doesn't matter. Johnny went with me, so it's good to have a road dog. But honestly, I'm putting on music one way or the other.
What's your driving music, man?
We have XM radio, Sirius XM in the car, so I put on the alt rock stations between like 33 and 36, and then just rock out.
Do you ever listen to those old school hip hop, like 45 and stuff like that? Isn't that 45?
Yeah.
That old school hip hop?
I listen to old school hip hop too. Yeah, but we'll get into that. What the fuck are we going to talk about on today's podcast, you stoner fuck?
We're going to talk about Comic-Con. We're going to talk about WWE had their first all-female pay-per-view
They're
event
going to have
in
it.
October,
they announced it. Yeah, that's right.
And I feel like that's because of us, because we had Charlotte Flair on the podcast.
It's completely because of King Wolf, Queen Flair, and what am I?
Prinze.
Prinze. What up, folks? So yes, we're gonna do a recipe of the week. I got a request to do one for people on like a 0 budget. So I'm gonna throw something at y'all for that. What else?
I would like to talk about what's going on in my relationship with my son Jacob right now, which is very interesting. Which
Did he beat you up?
not again. You know
Not again.
that was you've seen both the times he did that.
Yeah, those were in fun though. Is he mad at you?
No, not mad at me. It's very interesting when you hit a certain.
Okay,
age.
we'll get into that.
And I, West Palm Beach was amazing. This weekend was amazing. The Prinze and the Wolf fans are so good.
That's funny, dude. I love that you have this weird, like, group of weirdo cult people that just let it ride. Someone said it to me at Comic-Con. They're like, hey, bro, let it ride.
Yeah.
And he was like, buff. I was like, yeah, bro, let it ride. Fuck.
100%. And we're gonna do our first live Let It Ride August 11th in Boston after the con.
After some carnage.
But yeah, man. Now I feel pretty strong. My brain is pretty clear this morning. It is pretty clear.
All right.
Because no edibles last night.
So zero excuses for what's going on so far.
Well,
right on.
Yeah. But I feel like today is a good day for a freestyle.
Oh! Well, you already told everyone the rundown.
Yeah, but I'm just going to give them a heads up.
All right.
And this might just be just a fun, Will Smith style.
They've all been fun for different reasons. We're beyond that.
Oh, we're beyond fun.
Because you've established a good one.
Uh-huh.
So now that's the bar. So when you fall short of the good one, which was like 2 or 3 ago, then you're going to disappoint the people.
I'm used to it.
Because now you're an MC, so there's a certain energy level, lyrical level, and content level that the people are going to expect. So are you sure you're prepared?
Well, I'm never prepared.
That's the best part. All right. Ready?
Yep.
You want fast or slow?
Not too fast. That's not really.
Yeah, that fucked you up last time. No Busta Rhymes.
Yeah.
Tech 9 stuff for you.
Here we are again. It's time for the Wolf and the Prinze. Sit back and relax, my friends. Listen to me as I begin this freestyle rap about what we're gonna do. Freddie and me gonna show to you our talking styles that we do every day. Let me sit back and just say, hey, this show's gonna flow pretty cool. We're here, it's gonna be school. We're gonna teach you how to hang and relax. Just sit back, and we're supposed to put back at the end of that.
I mean, but you didn't even people are not gonna give you the love on that.
That was a 80s like Will Smith fun. We're not
zero content.
Zero content. Will Smith is zero content.
That's actually wrong.
Yeah.
Parents just don't
True,
understand
true.
is nothing but content.
True.
That's a full-on story. I think I could fight Mike Tyson. That's nothing but content.
True. I'm sorry. I take it back, Will Smith. I know you listen
Now,
to the podcast.
Nightmare on My Street. That one, they tried, but
Yeah.
I don't know on that one.
He put out a new album, or he's putting out a new album.
I don't listen to his music anymore, but I like his first and second attempts.
What?
I like his old school stuff.
What? I'm really always curious about this. What music do your kids listen to? And is there certain music you don't play in the car with them?
Well, yeah. I mean, I watch language as much as they're not listening to like gangster rap, and they're not listening to like down south rap. Like,
Is there music they like?
Yeah, they love it. I mean, they even sometimes there's some song, a country song that made it onto pop charts, and it's like it'll be, oh God, it's like fucking putting nails in my eyelids, and Charlotte loves it. And the moment,
what's the song again? Tell me.
I don't know how it goes. It's like
Oh, that one.
and I just want to like crash the car. If my
Yeah.
children weren't in it, I probably would have. But so I turned that one really quick, and that's the only song we really disagree on. They like pop music, and I can deal with pop music.
Taylor Swifty pop music?
She like everything from Taylor Swift to that what do they call it? Panic at the Disco? That, whoa, it's Saturday. Like my daughter will sing that note for note with the homeboy, the lead singer on that. So she loves that. They love Michael Jackson, Prince.
They do?
Oh yeah, that's what they were raised on. Like when they were in the stroller every day walking, that's all they would hear on my iPhone was Prince and Michael Jackson. And my son loves rock and roll, and the harder the rock, he likes it harder than me. Like he'll
what?
go
Give me an
full
example.
metal, like full metal.
Like AC/DC type stuff.
That he loves that.
That's what
but
you
that's
do.
not hard
Right.
for him. Like he would want, what's that, like Avenged Sevenfold?
Oh, yeah.
Like I'll accidentally go to channel 37 sometimes, which is like where it gets harder rock.
Yeah.
And Rocky every time would be like, no, da, leave it here. And it's like, and I'm like, yo, Rock, like we can't roll with this. And he's like, no, that sounds cool. Dad, I'm like, oh my god.
There are two memories from when my kids were little. That one, we got all of my family and friends together in my living room because my two oldest kids, Trevor and Caitlin.
How old were they?
At the time,
Rough.
6 and 4.
Okay, I can relate.
They were like, we want to do our music video to Detroit Rock City. And for those of you
That's great,
right?
though.
Oh, it was great. And for those of you who don't know, that's Kiss.
Yeah, man.
Right?
Not the best musicians, but great performers.
And fun.
Yeah.
It's like party music.
Yeah.
So
Like party music.
Yeah, I said, so what do you want to do for the video? And they were like, well, we don't actually want you to film it. We just want you to invite people over so we can show everybody how we dance to it. And I was like, cool. So at the time, I lived in what I called the luxury apartments because that's what they were called. They were anything but luxury.
Right. They got you on that branding.
Yeah, they really did. They really nailed me. I drove by, I'm like, oh, that sounds like a good place. So there were 12 of us crammed in our little living room. My family and family's girlfriends or wives or at the time, whoever, and some of my friends. And so my son comes out, and we had like a table that we had in front of the couch. But you know, like I always find like the less money you have, the lower your furniture is to the ground. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Not always, but I feel you.
Like when I had no money, my couch always sat like maybe 4 inches off the ground. You know what I mean? And you had one of those tiny tables in front of you. So we had our tiny couch, and my son decided that the table in the middle was gonna be his stage. And it was probably maybe 3 feet long and maybe 2 feet deep. And so he was like, "Can you intro us?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll intro."
You're good hype, man.
Oh,
You
hyped
get
him
good
up.
stuff,
I was
man.
like, "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the music stylist." And I just pumped him up. I was like, "Caitlin and Trevor!" And I hit
And are
play.
there uncles there?
Uncles there.
Oh God. Okay, this is great.
Uncles are there. Trevor comes out. He's wearing sunglasses and he's got a tennis racket that he's singing into.
Oh, that's way Tom Cruise risky business.
Yeah.
Like it.
My daughter is just in her underwear and a t-shirt,
That sounds like my kid.
right? And so down, and when it starts, my daughter just starts, no joke, sprinting laps around that table.
Like mosh pit.
You just, I'm like, oh my God, she's gonna fucking throw up for sure. And just sprinting around, her hair, she's getting dizzy and
That's a
stuff.
power white person dance move.
100%. And my son knew all the words, singing into the microphone. We're about 15, 20 seconds in. My daughter, you can see she's starting to run out of steam, dude.
Getting trained, man.
So dizzy.
You gotta train. You want to be a dancer.
One of my favorite 4 minutes of my life. The other one.
Well, hold
yeah.
on. At what minute does she start fading? Because I know in the beginning.
27 seconds.
Okay, so because Rockies will be the same way. Like it starts fast, and I know like, oh, I cannot. People like, how do you do it, man? How do you keep up with your kids? I'm like, y'all are tripping. Kids have about 60 seconds of physical stamina. Burst. And it's mental stamina that's tiring y'all out. Like, go play with your kid hard, because in 2 minutes he's gonna be like, Dad, can we go inside?
Yeah.
Please, can I get some Kool-Aid? And then you win.
Freddie, you know one of
27 seconds. I love it.
One of my favorite things. So when I was in high school, I used to teach. I was the t-ball coach for the town. Okay, and it was one of my favorite jobs.
Teach me
ever
how to
had.
hit.
I loved. It was one of my favorite jobs.
I'll start on a tee.
Yeah, dude.
I'll need to.
But when the kids were really hyper, and sometimes when they're really hyper, it was just hard to control two teams. But there was a basketball court next to it, and I would be like, "Hey guys, who's the fastest?"
Oh yeah.
And they were all like, "We are!" And I would
Crush.
get them in the middle of the summer to run 30 seconds of sprints on the basketball court.
Yep.
Because on the pavement it was better than on the grass because it's hot as fuck.
I told you a story years ago. I coached a 3rd grade girls volleyball team. They hadn't won a game. And at the beginning of every practice, they wouldn't focus. And so I said, every time I ace you, you run a lap. and I would bam, and I was trying to ace them because I wanted them in shape, tired, and focused. Because that's what our like martial arts instructors would do to us. And these third grade girls, and I've told this story before, we never lost again.
Yeah.
Like they were sick, man, and it wasn't me. They were good. They were just focused and all of a sudden in shape. And they were smoking other teams. But that's all you got to do, is wear their ass out.
It's crazy that that's something I had never thought of, but how important, and that's a skill in life. If the people who can still focus when they're exhausted, the people who can still focus when they're wiped out.
I think it's easier to focus when I'm exhausted. Your body won't do what your brain's saying, but I learn more when I'm tired boxing, and the next time I box, like I have more strategy. Like an example would be the first time I had the fortune of boxing with Victor Ortiz, right? Former world champion. And he's a southpaw. And the damage he was able to do with that hook changed the way I carried my hand from that moment forward. And now when guys throw hooks left or right, because I switch a lot, so either way I'm going to catch a hook from a good side and a bad side, but I never take damage from him anymore, ever. And I was so tired when I was fighting Victor, and it's only like, this is probably like minute 2:45, like there's only 15 seconds left in the first of 2 rounds that we did that day. But I wasn't able to get my hand to where I needed to, which was on the side of my jaw to protect it, the right hand to left jaw. And my brain was like, get it back further, get it back further. And my body was like, fuck you. I'm beat. We'll do it next time. Yeah. And we did. Like the next person who threw a hook on me, my hand was bink. And I'd never get clipped with him anymore. I mean, never, because it hurt.
Wait a second. You block punches. Why don't you block with the same side?
Sometimes I do, but if you look at some of the best boxers who have ever fought, Bernard Hopkins, Floyd Mayweather, they all keep that right hand in front of their chin, and if you throw the right, they block the opposite side. If you throw the left, they block this side. They would call it a catch and a block. Catch is on opposite side, block is on the same side. But that's not to say there aren't times where you shouldn't jab, get that left back to block, so that you can take that right hand and deliver one of your own. The circumstances and the techniques will dictate those choices that you make. I've just done it since I was fucking 4.
Yeah.
So I have more techniques available to me. So it sounds weird to you, but anybody who like is obsessed with fighting, they're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Same way you were breaking down a joke, like when you can go in on someone.
Yes.
Because experience, because you've done it for so long. Like Josh was telling me this thing before the podcast, and I'm not going to steal your story. I'll let you do it. But he was saying, oh, I went in on somebody, and I know they deserve it because you're a good guy. But then you talked about the philosophy of it. You were like, I don't say anything. I say yes, and I'm super polite. And the staff come up and say, hey, could you please keep it down? And I still don't do anything. And then once somebody in the crowd goes, kick him out, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
And then you go in. And that's the same thing. Like you have different techniques available to you. In the ring, I have different techniques.
So let me ask you.
They don't know work, so you got to switch.
So when your hand, that right hand, when you're throwing right hand stance, right? When you keep it in front.
Yeah.
When you're blocking just with the right, is that so you can continue to throw the left?
Yeah, I like to jab, and the people watching can see it. And if you don't know how to watch us, you can catch us Thursdays. Every Thursday, we drop at 10 Pacific on the YouTube channel, GEGGHEAD, egghead with a G at the beginning. The good. But when I jab, my right hand will naturally float to this side to protect from the overhand right. And if I see your hook coming, it's very easy to move my right hand to the other side to block the left hook.
Yeah.
So it's just a real comfortable way. Who did they say created it? Is it Floyd Patterson, I think, created it? Or some people would even call it the Philly shell. But that's kind of the way Wayne McCullough learned from the great Eddie Futch, who trained Joe Frazier. Joe Frazier fought that way, right hand in front of the chin, same kind of style. So I find that to give me the most athletic advantage over the guys I fight. However, sometimes I gotta go Mike Tyson, both hands up and back and forth, and use that kind of momentum because some guys are just too strong, and even if I block, I'm on.
Well, that was my next question is, I mean, I know I sound like a pussy, but even if your glove's here,
Getting punched
when someone
hurts.
hits your glove into your face, doesn't that also hurt?
Hurts, but move your glove and tell me what hurts
Really good point.
more. I mean, look, you're gonna get hit if
Yeah.
martial arts or combat sports, wrestling, whatever it is. If it's something that you like, just know, or something for your kids that you're thinking about, your kids are gonna get hit.
Yeah.
Like nobody gets out of there without a bloody nose or a skin knee, depending on which martial art you take, which combat sport you participate in. But it's normal, like for that world, like football, same thing, soccer, a lot of headers. You know what I mean? Like every sport kind of has its thing. That's combat sports, and I think it makes kids tougher.
I do too.
Most of the time, the coaches are very blue collar and believe in hard work and earning it most of the time. And I think those are the best coaches to help shape your children. Those are the coaches that I seek out to help shape my children. I tell my daughter's PE coach, Coach Nguyen, at her super nice private school where everybody's, you know, all about peace and love, and which is good. But I tell her coach, I'm like, hey man, be hard on her. If you see her slacking off, if she wants to walk a lap instead of run it, you can be hard. And he's like, okay.
Yeah.
And because he's a PE coach, he wants to do that. And there are days where she'll be like, Dad, man, oh, PE. I'm like, good. I'm glad it was hard. It's going to be hard till it's easy. That's when you know you're in shape.
Dude, that is a great philosophy. And I think something that a lot of parents shy away from is harder, guys, when you make things harder for your kids, a lot of times, not every time, sometimes you can do it unnecessarily, and a lot of times it's better. You learn, I say this a million times, and I read such a great post this morning from Jessime Peluso, who's a comic, and I'm gonna basically paraphrase it, but she's going through, her dad has Alzheimer's, and she's bringing it to the stage. And her post basically was, I love this job. You have to fail to get good. You have to fail to learn how to do
This is
things
a theme
correctly.
we discuss a lot.
And she said, there's nothing more gratifying than failing, and then starting to finally see the path.
Yeah, man.
It's such a good feeling. And when you guys, and I don't mean you guys who are listening, when parents are constantly showing their kids the path instead of making the kids find it,
Yeah.
you're cheating them. Because one,
You're also only showing them one way if you do that, your way.
Your way.
As opposed to letting them discover, oh, that didn't work, or this works, but it's going to take too long. What if I do this? Yeah, that's faster, but then Dad's going to make me do it over because
Yeah.
it won't be a good job. And then they discover all these different routes, and it makes your kids smart as a tack, man.
and
And I don't do it perfect. Sometimes I'm like, look, just do it the way I told you to.
yeah.
All parents do, you know what I mean? But when you have the time, like, let them, we talk about this, like when you work out, you want to work out for failure. When the muscle fails, the brain goes, oh shit, I don't like that. So it breaks down food to send more protein to build those muscles and make them stronger so they don't fail. And then you get the sweet Josh Wolf biceps. But that's, bam. See, if you had the video. You could see that. But that's what we talk about in everything. Einstein said, I'm not smarter than anyone. I just give up later than everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And which means he fails 1,000,000 times, but he's willing to do it 1,000,001. And most of us are willing to do it 10 times and then we quit. So that's what we talk about when we talk about failure and trying to accomplish your dreams. And we say all that hooey. You said it much quicker.
No, but you're 100% right. And yeah, man. So I think when you tell the PE coach that, I think it's the right thing to do. I think that like martial arts, great.
Yeah, I mean, there are opportunities where I allow Rocky to make contact, but like when he wants to spar, he knows like, oh shit, I can't even touch Dad,
Yeah.
let alone hit him.
Yeah.
Like he won't make contact because he's fucking 6. But you know what I'm saying? Like I see other parents and like, oh man, oh no,
Yeah.
you're the best. And I'm like, man, as soon as that kid wrestles with someone that's better, they're done. Now I'll put my son in positions, and if he executes the right technique, then I'm gonna let him flip me over. Or I'm gonna let him get a single leg takedown on me if he's doing things correctly. But he needs to know every once in a while, like, there are levels to this.
Yeah.
And because he'll tell me all the time, Dad, I already know how to kick. I'm like, man, you can't kick. And I'll tell him straight up, like, your kicks are beginner, bro. I was like, you need to be practicing with me every day if you want to kick nice. And he's like, I do kick nice. I'm like, come out here and show me. And then he'll kick, and I'll just grab his leg and take him down. I'm like, that ain't nice. And then he's like, oh, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that stuff to me is important. And I was raised in a lot of different martial arts. So if I've experienced the empowering masters, the grinder wrestling coach masters, the more Eastern Zen philosophy, do it 10,000 times. Like, I've experienced all of it. I know which works best for me, and there's good things to take from all of them. But what works best for me may not work best for my son. You know what I mean? Like,
that's the thing, is that that's the best
I
lesson.
can't teach him boxing the way I
Exactly.
learned it, but I let Wayne teach him the way Wayne learned it.
And then
that
he
hard
finds his
Irishman
own way, right?
Bro, like, we're part Irish, so he's like kindled whatever like Northern Belfast genealogy is in my, like left over in my son. My mom's last name's Cochran, and sparked it to where my son is like, he calls it the lunge. He lunges in, and instead of just jabbing, he has Rocky do 6 punches and then jab his way out, right? So he pops in, boom, bang, 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 and then bang, bang, out. And they've been working on this for like 2 weeks, and Rocky did 5 punches instead of 6 when he showed me, and Wayne goes, Freddie, can you go inside? I have to have a word with him. And I was just like, yeah, bro. And I'm watching through the glass, and he's like, you know how many punches to throw. How many did you throw? And Rocky goes, 6. 5. And he goes, so next time you throw 6. And he stays on. He doesn't just go, hey, great job. You know what I mean? And before I can even say great job, I didn't know he's supposed to throw 6. He like stops in because he wants Rocky to, every time he throws 6 punches, that's more than what the average combination is. So that's going to freak other fighters out. It's also helping him learn the technique on how to throw the punches correctly through muscle memory. And he wants the kid in shape. You know, your average combo is going to be 3 punches. He's got my son throwing 6 punch combinations so that if there ever is trouble, that one kid's gonna throw 2 and he's got 4 more coming to So
Dude,
that hard training, I think, is good.
Yeah.
You know, not beating down on
But
the
he's
kids,
not
just
beating
being tough.
down on him. He's not
Just
making him
being
feel
tough.
bad himself. This was the deal.
Saying, look, I know what you're capable of
Yes.
doing, and you know what you're capable of doing, so do it, and do it now.
But also, this was the deal. You didn't live up to your end of the bargain. I'm not
Yeah.
asking you to do anything that I haven't asked you
Just
to do
do it
before.
correctly and do it now.
I'm going to touch on this thing that's going on with Jacob and I right now, and then
Yeah,
let's get it.
no, that's a good segue.
It's a very interesting thing, guys. So, you know, I'm close to all my kids, but my 2 oldest kids bounce back and forth with my ex a little more. Jacob was with me from beginning to end. You know, when I was single and the other 2 older kids were at school, a lot of times it was just me and him. He and I have spent a lot of time together. And we had a very close relationship, 0 to 18. What I would consider. Have. And so I just figured what happened, you know, with me and my parents and everybody else and everybody else's parents wouldn't happen with me and Jake. not that
That's
I
funny.
feel any different about him and he feels any different about me. No, that's not what I'm saying. But like, he would always just want to hang out with me. And if I called him, he'd be like, yeah, I'm fucking coming over right now. And that, it's happening exactly how it happens to everybody else.
Yeah, man.
He's, you know, I don't hear from him for a couple weeks or.
Oh,
You know what I mean? No
my
te-
mom used to get so sad. Oh,
Do you know
I
what I mean?
remember doing this to my mom.
And but the thing is, you didn't do any. You weren't doing something to her.
Not to her, but
Right.
the
Yeah,
choices I made
you were living your
and
life.
the things that became important to me at that moment in time, she was not in the top 5 priority list.
100%.
That's so tough for you,
It's
dude.
so tough because in my brain, that's still just my little buddy.
That's your
You-
dog,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Dude, he's your boy.
And I called my mom. And she was like,
Oh, this is getting
I
worse.
called my mom and I was like, this
I'm gonna
is-
cry for you, man.
I because my mom had said something to me, I said to her, and he moved out of the house, and he got his own place, and I said I made him, but now now that he's moved out, I never see him. And I went to college in Texas. I was the only person that went that far away. And she said, at least he didn't move to Texas. And I was like, ouch. And I apologized to her. I go, I'm so sorry. I didn't know.
So she owned you,
Yeah.
bro. She made you say sorry
like-
for going to college.
She was like, he's down the street. He's not in Texas. I'm like, yeah. But you don't realize, like, here's what it is. For 18 years, they need you.
Yeah, man.
And you don't realize what that fills up in your life. What the
I'm
space,
not arguing with you.
Yeah, the space that occupies in your heart, in your soul, in your brain.
And now you need it. It's oxygen.
You want all my kids. Now, the oldest 2 kids never relied on me as much. They never relied on me as much, just because a lot of times they weren't at my house. He He is 0 to 18.
Yeah.
So,
And a little beyond 18.
yeah. So it was such an interesting, and everything is, and I've said this before, everything is more final with the last one. Even though the oldest two didn't need me anymore, there was always the last one.
Oh, dude,
Do you
you're
know what I
breaking
mean?
my heart right now.
So it's like when my mom, she was like, you know, I always wondered, I asked her, why did you cry so much at my high school graduation? Did you not want me to graduate the most? And she said, no, I didn't cry at the other three because there was always...
I wanted you to fail.
Yeah, there was always at least one more.
Yeah.
She cried at everything of mine because she was like, I knew it was the last... Not only is it milestone in your life, but they're milestones in my life because it's the last time those will ever happen.
And the
for me
parents
too.
have a better perspective of what
Yeah.
the experience will mean to you later in life. Like when
100%.
we're like, when I graduated high school, it's like, thank God.
Yeah.
Fuck this place. Fuck this town. I am ghost. And now I'm like, oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Perspective. My mom was like, oh my God. You know what I mean? I was the first one in my family to graduate fucking high school. My dad dropped out. My mom dropped out. My uncle didn't go. He enlisted into the Vietnam fucking War at 15. Like, so my mom was like, oh God. And me, I'm just like, oh, all right, Mom, love you, peace. And my mom would call me every day. It drove me nuts. And I literally was like, Mom, like, you got to give me space. And I hated saying that to her, but it was literally driving me insane. But like you know, my mom lost her husband. You lost your wife in a different way.
Right.
And it was just her and I from 0 to 18.
Yeah.
And I was with her all the time. I hung out with her. We went on basically dates, you know what I mean? Like just mom and son dates. And it was a special relationship. And when that oxygen was, you try breathing with 70% less oxygen.
Yeah.
And that's probably the same thing my mom was. You invest so much of yourself into this child, and then all of a sudden the kid's like, all right, I'm good, peace. And you're like, no, I'm really glad you're good.
Yeah.
Go. Now, fortunately, Charlotte will never move out. We had a conversation.
No, did you?
Don't laugh in my face like that ever again. We had a conversation, and we have the conversation often so that it becomes a part of her. She's going to go to UCLA.
Yep.
She's very close to where we live, and there's no need for her to move and waste money or even waste time.
Agreed.
When she can
Nunnery?
eat for
Nunnery?
free. What's that?
Nunnery? Is she joining the nunnery?
Nah, man. The Catholic Church ain't having me back.
Yeah.
I'm a recovering Catholic, Chad. But yeah, so she'll stay. And
What about Rocky?
he can get the fuck out.
You're like, hey man, you got 3 years left in that.
Like, dog, you graduated. What the hell's going on, man? Nah, that's my
You paying
homie.
rent yet?
No, he'll have to go, or it'll be me that has to go, because he'll be young enough to replace me in like everything but one aspect of life, and that aspect won't be that important at that age.
Now,
so I'll be ghosted.
At what age? Because you're training him young. At what age? Say he gets to be your size. I don't know if that's is that you think that's a realistic?
You never know.
Never know.
I don't think so.
Were you bigger than him at his age?
No. High school was when I grew. High school, and I grew a lot. I was 5'8", and I graduated at 6'1".
What?
Yeah, it hurt. Like I physically had pain, like my senior year. Yeah.
That is all. And did you fill out too, or were you just going straight up?
I was going straight up. I was long and athletic. I've never been like a big guy. The biggest I ever got was like when I was 33, 34, when I was like working out super duper hard, and it just never felt good.
5 inches you grew?
In 4.5 years, yeah.
Holy
Yeah,
shit.
dude. So, and then my grandpa was 6'4", my dad was 6'2.5", I'm 6'1", so I don't think Rocky will be my size. I think he'll probably be more like around, 5'10", maybe 5'9", somewhere around there. Charlotte's very tall for her age. She's the 3rd tallest in her class, but girls usually grow quicker younger. What was your question, though?
What age do you think he will? Is he a confident young man?
It depends. Like most people, he's not unique with this. The more he does something, the more confident he is when he speaks about it. So,
are you expecting a physical challenge from him at some point in time?
like a confrontation?
Not like a real physical, like I'm gonna fight you, but like I think I could take you. Kind of. Let's wrestle in the backyard.
He'll try,
Yeah.
but he'll get tapped. Like, it's just different generations, man. Like, it's just different. They allow blue belts to instruct. it's just different.
Yeah.
The coaches can't man up on you as much. It's just different.
No, they don't?
Nah, man, it's a different world. You can't. It's much less confrontational because people hate confrontation and they forget that confrontation is what solves almost every problem. Like conflict can be good if both sides are working toward the same thing, right? The betterment of the pupil, right? So he could have the best coaches California could offer in wrestling. The guys that taught me how to wrestled at Iowa fucking State in the 70s, okay? Like in the 60s, sorry. And it's like they built programs.
Yeah.
These coaches live on the programs that others have built.
Yeah.
So it's just different, you know what I mean? Like the Werner twins taught me how to wrestle.
Is that right?
He's gonna yeah, my best friend's Nick Werner, that's their son. Nick whooped my ass in a wrestling match quick. Real quick.
Know that.
He'll get choked out, but if it was wrestling moves, my shoulders would be on the mat. Like his wrestling was no joke. He would switch weight classes to give other guys a chance to win state championships and still win state championships. And he only did that 4 years in a row. He got athletic wrestling scholarships from colleges all over the country. He just happened to be super smart, so he took an academic one. He's like, man, I ain't trying to cut weight. That shit sucks.
Yeah.
So he used his brain, and now he has a good, happy family. But his little boy, Jackson, boy's wrestling already. And he's learning from a guy who learned the hard way. So it'll be a different kind of you know what I mean? It's just different. So like the Gracies teach jiu-jitsu a very specific way. It's called the perfect position, where no matter where the child puts their hand, you take it, put it where it's supposed to be, reinforce it with like a little wiggle there, right? And say, perfect. And then you do it again. And if their hand gets behind your head, you move it behind your neck again. Perfect. That's exactly right. And that works for them and their philosophies, but that style never worked for me. I needed somebody who'd be like, keep your hands up. Ow, son of a bitch. I said keep your hands up. Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah. We're good. Good job, Freddie. Okay, cool. And that's how I learned. Yeah. But that's not for everybody, man. So it is.
That is generational, because I learned better that way too. Like, show me why I should have my hands there.
Oh, that hurt.
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna do that again.
Makes complete sense. Why? Because if you just tell me and you don't show me, I don't. That actually happened when I sparred with that young lady. They were like,
Cara?
Yeah, when Wayne was like, put your hands up, and I didn't put my hands up. He was like, put your hands up, and I put my hands up.
Oh shit, you would have 4 punch.
And then she hit me, and he was like,
girl,
that's why you put your hands up.
That girl just beat blood cancer. All right, there's like 1 in 1 million people.
I was gonna ask you how she is.
Bro, she's getting ready to try and fight again. That's how bad she beat cancer.
Well, maybe I should get in the ring with her.
She had the same cancer Danny Jacobson had, the guy that fought Triple G, the black dude that gave him a great fight. Yeah. And he came to visit her. And he's a fighter. And he was like, yo, they say no one beat this? I'll fucking beat it. And she was like, it was like when Rocky, and why can't I think of Rocky's wife's name? Adrian. When Adrian is like, wakes up from a coma and she's like, win!
Yeah.
And it's like, ding, da, 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 and fucking Cara was like, what, bitch? Boom! Fuck you, cancer. So that's awesome.
Shout out to her. Go on. You go in. Go in.
Speaking of women power.
Go in.
The WWE has finally caught up with the rest of the wrestling world, which is awesome when mainstream catches up to what we want them to catch up to and break tradition. We want instant replay in football or in baseball. They waited 30 years, but finally they did it. We don't shit on them for waiting so long. We go, hey, right on, you finally fucking caught up. The WWE is having its very first women's pay-per-view match. All women. There's going to be over 50 women on their first pay-per-view, represented in some way, shape, or form. They won't all be wrestling. But from the first generation that is still left to the next generation and everyone in between. And I believe this is going to lead to a full women's wrestling show that will be on their network, that will be built in the same way NXT was built, and become a traveling, functioning part of the WWE as well. They're doing another Mae Young Classic, which is where I introduced you to the great Toni Storm, who you love so much, who they've now signed.
They did?
She's on the WWE UK contract now, and has freedom to do her other things as well. So the NXT contract allows freedom. That's how they get a lot of these great independent people to come in.
Who do you think will be because I think if you're going to do like a women's show, and forgive me because this is going to date who I am, but who is going to be the female Mean Gene? Like, do you feel like you need a shouldn't there be female commentators and female?
Well, they have some, and they used Lita, who was with the Hardy Boys back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
She was a really good wrestler. Her knee couldn't hold up, or she would have been a great woman. She's Hall of Fame for sure. And when I say great, I mean how many times she could have been champion. Her knee just wouldn't allow it. But she was in great matches with Trish Stratus, who everybody knows because she was like the hottest wrestler from the Attitude Era.
Was she the first big female wrestler?
Big meaning like super famous?
Yeah.
Like mainstream famous.
Mainstream famous?
Mainstream famous, sure. But like wrestling famous, not even close. But anyway, like, so Lita could be that voice, but I think there's room to reach outside there and try to find someone. I just don't know who you would get. I mean, trying to think of like women on TV now with attitude, like in the Michelle Beadle, sort of universe, or the Katie Nolan universe, like that kind of world. Maybe that's the right direction, but I don't know. Maybe I'm the one. Maybe I should be the voice of women's wrestling. You don't know.
Maybe they should have you.
Maybe I already am, and I'm just laying the seed.
Look, I would be Charlotte. I'm gonna put my hat in the ring.
What you got?
The Macho Man had Miss Elizabeth.
Yeah, he did.
I don't know why Charlotte Flair wouldn't need Mr. Joshua.
Josh Wolf, the inspiration
right out
of
of
Charlotte Flair.
But Mr. Joshua, right out of Lethal Weapon.
Mr. Joshua. Love that name. Straight Gary Busey.
I
Love
go straight. Listen, Charlotte Flair, I know you're
You'd be
listening.
unpredictable, too.
Mr. Joshua. I'm ready.
He was unpredictable. You could cost her opponent some victories by interfering in the match,
you know
which
I
we
would.
always like.
I love that.
Mr. Fuji was my favorite manager ever because he would do the miss.
Yeah. I love it.
I can't see. I'm Jean-Claude Van Damme in Bloodsport.
Yeah.
Fucking
Well, that
love
Bloodsport,
Fuji,
the big Asian dude.
That's where I got my
Bloodsport.
wig powder attack for
Is it?
Slamilton, was
Pretty
because of
good.
Mr. Fuji and Bloodsport.
Do you think that the pay-per-view event?
Yeah.
Do you think that they're expecting an equal box office between the normal one?
I think they'd get more. I really do.
You think it'll be bigger?
Because the first one, yeah, I think it'll be bigger. But they don't rely on pay-per-view numbers at all anymore. It's all WWE Network subscribers now. And those are the numbers that I think you'll see spike, because there's a lot of hardcore fans who hate the WWE for the sole reason that this hasn't been as prevalent, women's wrestling, on their brand for so long, when it is in all these other online subscriptions that they pay to. And that's how these places are sort of staying in business, that and the house take, right? Because women's wrestling is an international thing. It's not a trend, it's an actual thing. Like, it goes on everywhere. They make money. There's promotions that make money all over the world. They can make decent money all over the world doing this. So it's a thing. But that contingent, I think, will start to slowly come over. Now, there's some people that have just decided, wrongfully so, that I've heard people on my timeline go, Vince McMahon's in charge of wrestling and he hates wrestling. That's the stupidest fucking shit I've ever heard. No one loves wrestling more than Vince McMahon, but he also likes money. And if he doesn't see money in something, he doesn't like it. That's why he doesn't like baseball, because he doesn't think he can make money in it, because he thinks if he got in it, they'd break their antitrust bullshit.
Yeah.
So if he doesn't see cash, it sucks. If he does see cash, it's great, as long as it's in that wrestling world. I can't get the guy to watch a Richard Pryor video after watching WrestleMania 2 times in a row on a fucking international flight. Not different WrestleManias, the fucking same one, and he wanted to watch it a 3rd time instead of just mixing it up a little. Not because he's trying to shit on anything, because he loves wrestling. But the mainstream and traditions die slowly. And the fact that women like Charlotte Flair, and credit to the Bellas for Total Divas and bringing mainstream eyes to it, and credit this generation of wrestlers now that the WWE has built and or poached from other areas for being physical enough, sometimes good enough on the mic, not always, but sometimes good, but the men too are guilty of that.
Yeah.
But to have the ability to execute in that ring at a high level and make people say, shit, I want to see that again, that is amazing. So if you want to dwell on the fact it took them 10 years or 15 to catch up with everyone else, cool. I'm going to focus on what the next 15 years of women's wrestling is going to look like. Because there's 8, 10, 12, 13, 15-year-old girls that tweet Charlotte Flair and say, you're my inspiration. I want to be like you when I grow up. And when that girl hits puberty and starts working out and starts doing the things that they know you have to do to become wrestlers now, it's going to be like the UFC, when all these fighters, instead of just training wrestling or just training boxing or just training Muay Thai, at UFC academies, they're training everything. And it's that generation of fighters that we're going to be like, oh shit, I thought George St. Pierre was the best. This 22-year-old's retarded good.
Dude.
So that is what I think we have to look forward to.
I also think one of the best moves that the WWE made was you don't have, they were just promoting looks before, and now they have
100%.
athletes. And you can still be attractive, but if we're talking about watching people be athletic and do athletic things, there's only, I mean, I'm so sorry if this sounds crude, but there's only so far big tits are going to take you, because you're
That's
15,
not crude. That's straight
15 20 seconds, you're like, okay, I've seen the big tits, and now I'm watching something that does not look up to par with everything else I've seen.
And wrestling
athletically.
fans are brutal.
Yes.
They'll start the "You can't wrestle" chant real quick. Real quick.
Yeah, it's important. Like Charlotte is an athlete, and that's what people.
She's jacked.
Yeah, that's what people are responding to. We're
Yeah.
responding to athletes, because at the end of the day, yes, professional wrestlers and the guys have great bodies, whatever, but they are you're watching them do shit you can't do.
And you're responding to the ones that are able to make normal stuff look magical.
Yes.
Like she makes a moonsault look magical.
Yes.
Jeff Hardy makes a moonsault look
Yes.
magical. Triple H makes his pedigree move look magical. Seth Rollins makes the pedigree look when you can do that and you have that sort of ability to not only look tough but look weak when you're getting hit, that's what people are responding to, and the women are doing that as well as the men ever have, and it's fucking dope. And that's it. That's all I have to say.
Well, listen, guys, and now if you're watching or listening, just tweet Charlotte and tell her that if she needs a manager, that Mr. Joshua.
Mr. Joshua. This is a new character. The producer's dead, so
Yeah.
don't punish him for that.
But Mr. Joshua.
I like that.
I think Mr. Joshua has a briefcase.
I don't think you need.
Backpack? Fanny pack.
No, you can't. That's Michael P.S. Hayes. That's his
okay.
gimmick. You can't steal that.
I'll figure some out.
Maybe a backpack. I like that.
Yeah,
Or a
what?
sun visor. If you're a no, that's terrible.
One of those poker visors
Yeah,
with like the green
accountant
glasses.
One, the accountant one. Yeah, that's the one.
Hit me with a recipe, man, and then I was gonna ask you.
We got time?
We got time. I would love to do a Mount Rushmore of TV theme songs.
Ooh, saucy.
How you feel about that?
Yeah,
I think
I
we
like
could probably
that.
whip one of those out quick.
Yeah, because one of them that I'll always love, I still watch. It's on the Logo Network. We'll get to it in a minute. No, that's not mine. That's Hawaii 5-0.
Yeah, that's not it
That's
for you?
money. But that's not the one I was going to do. So let's do Recipe of the Week and then we'll do it.
Okay.
All right. So, Recipe of the Week. I got a request for people on a tight budget or no budget and what they could do that would be healthy and taste good so that you're not having to eat, friggin' Taco Bell at 2 a.m. So, hey, that's not good for you, bro.
Oh, sorry.
It's not good for you.
No, it's not.
Don't eat fast food. This is simple, okay? So here we go. It's not. It's not.
It's delicious.
You need to eat healthy.
Oh, yes, but it's
You
also
can-
delicious.
It's not. It's terrible for you. There's all kinds of bullshit in there.
100%.
It's going to fuck you up, make you all fat, and then you're going to fucking die. Sound positive?
It doesn't sound
I don't
positive.
think Taco Bell's going to give us any.
No, I Prince and the Wolf, sponsored by Taco Bell. You don't need that.
Struck out, motherfucker. Okay, so here we go. I want you to get, all you need is a medium saucepan, a medium-sized saucepan. If you have a large one, then it's a large one, but medium's all you need. Put it on your stovetop or your range and turn it to medium heat, okay? Let that heat up for 5 minutes tops, okay? It'll probably be like 3 or 4, but 5 minutes is a safe way, even if it's electric.
Why do you preheat your pan?
I'm gonna get to it right now. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a little bit of olive oil or any cooking spray you wanna use, coconut spray, whatever. We're gonna add that to the hot pan. This is gonna cut down on the time. You don't wanna put meat in a pan and not hear a sizzle.
How come?
It's gonna cook your food on one side in a different temperature and a different time than the other. So you want things same, right? So a nice hot pan, then add the oil or cooking spray. Sometimes I honestly do a little coconut oil because it burns at a higher temperature, and then add the olive oil. Just this is my preference. But anyway.
Does it change the taste? Does coconut oil change the taste at all?
Not really. I mean, I guess if you used a ton of it, but I wouldn't use more than like 3 tablespoons of olive oil in this. And then I want you to take 2 boneless, skinless chicken breasts. You can buy these frozen. If you buy them frozen, thaw them out, put them in the fridge the night before. If you buy them fresh, you can still get them super cheap in bulk. Take 2 out, take 3 out, however many you want to make. We'll do 2 for this recipe because it's a medium saucepan. Put all the rest in the freezer, save it for another time. These 2 breasts, you're just going to sprinkle salt and pepper on both sides, a little bit of garlic powder on both sides. If you want a little bit of heat, you can put a touch of cayenne powder on both sides or not. That's all the seasoning you have to do. And when I say a little, I just mean dust it. That's it, okay? That's it. Put that in the pan, either side down. You've taken the skin off, so don't worry about that. At medium heat, you're not going to burn the chicken. You're not going to make it black by, not looking at it. You can actually walk away for about 6 or 7 minutes. After 7 minutes,
Do you cover it?
no, leave this open for right now. After 7 minutes, I want you to take the chicken. I want you to flip it over, and now I want you to grab, if you need a vegetable for this, frozen broccoli, fresh broccoli, whatever it is. If it's frozen, again, nuke it or thaw it out the night before. Just chop the little broccoli heads off and throw these in the pan now that the chicken's been flipped. Once you do that, all you need now is pasta sauce. If you do want to use just plain old tomato sauce, you can do that. Just remember to add salt and pepper to it for taste. If you have a sauce that you like that is already store-bought, that has good flavors and all that, then don't salt and pepper it. But add that now to the pan, but only, now you've cooked your other side of the chicken for about 2 minutes, okay? Only add the sauce to where you don't want to cover the chicken, just about 1/4 of an inch up the chicken. So you just want to fill the bottom of the pan. You don't want to cover the broccoli. You want everything to still be poking out. What's up?
So this is a question I always have, and I don't know enough about cooking meat. Is there a danger once you flipped it that there's some chicken that isn't cooked?
0.
And it touches the meat, it touches the sauce or the broccoli?
Don't worry about that.
Oh, you don't worry about that at all?
No,
Okay.
everything's getting cooked out, so everything's fine. So you flip the meat, you've cooked it for about a minute or 2, you've thrown the broccoli in, that's all cooking for about a minute or 2 now together. Now you're adding your tomato sauce or your ready-made sauce, and you're just filling the bottom of the pan, okay? It's gonna start to bubble quick. Once it bubbles, turn your pan down to medium-low or probably low, now cover it. Now this is gonna allow the sauce to cook, to sort of mix with everything else, to sort of allow the steam in there to infuse into the chicken, okay? Do this for about 7 to 10 minutes, take the lid off, throw whatever kind of cheese you want in there, fontina cheese, mozzarella cheese, whatever you like. I suggest mozzarella or fontina, keep it in the Italian family. Just however much you like, cover it again. As soon as the cheese melts, take it off the fire, put a spatula under the bottom of the chicken, pick it up with all the sauce and all the cheese on top of it. And if you want it a certain way, you can spoon sauce on top of your chicken if you want to do that, or I just do it at the end. I take my chicken out, put it on the plate. Now I grab my spoon, grab my broccoli, grab my sauce, put that all over the chicken. You got a complete meal. It's healthy, it's delicious, and the total cooking time on this with chopping and everything is between 20 and 25 minutes. And that's it.
I love that.
So there you go.
We're gonna do a Mount Rushmore. Next week, can you do, I have one more question. The difference between, and I guess I know, but what's the difference between what happens to your meat when you cover it or when you don't cover it?
Well, this is more for the sauce. If we left it open, the sauce would start to evaporate quickly and then would start to burn into the bottom of the pan and just not give you good flavor. But if we keep all that moisture trapped in there and it can't escape, then the sauce isn't going to evaporate. In some cases, you do want to reduce the sauce. When they say reduce by half, that's what they're wanting you to do. Leave the top off and let that steam
Doesn't
reduce
change the
the
meat
liquid.
at all?
You don't
The
need to.
texture, the moisture, anything like that?
It's going to keep the meat moist, but that's not the science behind what
Got it.
this recipe is.
Got it.
So just you're covering it so that sauce doesn't, evaporate and disappear. You want to have sauce left
Is
over.
there a meat that you're more apt to cover than not?
When I'm cooking chicken, steak, fish, I'm never covering it.
Never.
Ever, unless it's in a soup, a stew,
Okay.
things like that. I don't. There's just no point.
Do some people though? Some people are.
I don't know.
Okay.
I wouldn't eat it that way. But if you want to broil something or bake something,
Got it.
that's technically covered, but it's still, in a pan, open face.
Next week, will you do a cheap recipe? And this was my cheap food that I made, but I would love to hear your take on it. just a red beans and rice.
Oh yeah.
Because there's a lot people approach that a lot of different ways. That was my cheap recipe. I would make huge pots of it, and the kids and I could eat it for days. But like I
might add a couple little cheap things to it.
Yeah, but I would love it. Okay, so
it's
okay, that's an easy one. But I'm always curious because people have different takes on that. Some people's are super spicy. Some people add little pieces of chorizo or whatever.
Yeah, mine would be more savory than spicy, but you could do it.
I would love to hear your recipe for that next week. Is that cool?
Yeah, I'll make one. Maybe I'll even try to take pictures of it. Do like a whole thing.
All right.
We've done that a couple times.
Yeah.
Now, Rushmore.
Well, first before Rushmore, I just want to. We do need a prominent. Quick run here. We got a little.
Do we have a read?
We do have a read.
Thanks for telling me.
I'm telling you now. I like to sneak it up on us.
Yes, you do.
Mostly it's because I forget when I walk in until.
So today's Mount Rushmore is brought to you by
Mack Weldon.
The fantastic people at Mack and Weldon, making your penis more prominent.
By the way, Freddie, yesterday, 70-year-old dude at the gym.
Come on.
No underwear, sweatpants.
Come on.
But it was the first time.
So it was like swinging, dangling?
Yo, my man was carrying a hammer.
Sure those weren't his balls just hanging super low?
He was carrying a hammer. It was the only time I was like, that dude doesn't. I was like, usually I'm mad at those guys.
He needs Mack Weldons, but not for the reason some other people do.
Yeah.
He needs them to prevent the swingage, not for the hug.
Yeah.
He's getting hugs. He's been getting hugs for 50 years.
I've never had to like coil my dick like headphones when I put it in my underwear, you know what I mean? This dude.
Dirk Diggler's dad, basically.
Yeah, but I was like, I felt like telling that dude yesterday, hey man,
wrap that up.
We gotta get you some Mack Weldons, man, just to really hold all that in place. Because guys,
you could hurt somebody if he's doing like some like chin ups or pull ups. That thing swings backwards.
He could get hurt himself.
Hit your spotter right in the chin. And knock you out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know.
Because sometimes you start swinging on the last couple pull-ups.
Especially like what are those called? The CrossFit, the burp. You know the ones where they swing.
Well, you're just looking for trouble.
Yeah,
you don't get a spot from me.
You're gonna knock.
But on regular chin-ups, you struggle and you use your feet to kick.
You're gonna get someone from the back or the front. This dude was carrying a hammer.
No, if you're spotting from the front, that's on you. Because then that's more a personal taste thing. You're like, great job.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I'm loving this more than you. No, that's.
What'd you call that? A personal choice?
That's a personal. That's not a spot. That's a personal choice. Spot's for the back.
You really should choose the back. Because if you're choosing the front.
If you're choosing the front, you're trying to get too up close to my Mack Weldons. And we need a little respectful distance.
But the thing about the front with the Mack Weldons is the microbial is going to stop microbial.
Yeah.
Antimicrobial.
It means your balls won't stink.
Right.
But that's even more of a problem if I don't want you in front of me because you're like, damn, they smell great. And
Yeah,
I'm
maybe
like,
get in there.
I'm like, bro, I'm only on 6 and you broke my concentration.
Point is, everybody, you should be rocking Mack Weldons. Not just the underwear, not just the socks. You felt that hoodie. How soft was that hoodie?
Okay, the hoodie is soft. Took a jog in it. I even sweat like a mug because we've been in heat waves.
Yep.
Still didn't stink. I promise I washed it after though.
Yeah.
Even though.
The joggers are super. It's the first pair of joggers, because usually I put them on like those. Look like I'm not 18 years old. I can't wear these. But these were super cool.
Not like the Russian mobster ones.
Right. Not like the ones. These ones you can wear without underwear. But the socks, comfortable wearing them now. Actually wearing the socks and the underwear now.
Don't pull your underwear out.
I'm not pulling them out, but you guys know. I'll pull them out. Mack Weldons, guys. MackWeldon.com. Promo code prominent, all caps. What we don't understand is if you're listening to this and you haven't tried them yet.
Then you have a small dick and you like it.
Yeah, like, what is it?
No. You like small dicks. You love your small dick. And you never want it to look great.
Yeah.
That's what it means.
Yeah, and you don't like comfort, and you don't like not smelling. And
don't fight science, bro.
Just try it. It's science, bro. That's the new tagline from Mack Weldon. It's science, bro. Come on, Mack Weldon. You're gonna get a dick hug. You're not gonna stink.
A fresh smelling big dick.
Who doesn't want that?
Mack Weldon.
MackWeldon.com, everybody. Type in prominent, all caps, into the promo code. You're going to get 20% off. Tell your friends. Your wife's going to like it. Your boyfriend's going to like it. Whoever you're with is going to like it. You're going to like it. You're going to feel comfortable. You're going to feel confident. Who doesn't want that? And by the way,
This is too much love for him.
this is.
You're already going over the love.
Well, we're moving right to the Mount
This is
Mount
too much
Rushmore right
love.
now.
I feel like you're gonna say one of your favorite theme songs is the Mac Weldon.
No, but I'll write one if you want.
No. Mac, you got enough love. Weldon, you too.
Let's go to the top 4.
Top 4.
TV theme songs.
My first one. This isn't in order.
Mm-hmm.
Three's Company.
Oh,
Come and knock on my door. Come and knock on my door. And I'll say this. It's not that the song's so amazing. The show was so friggin' good that when the song comes on still to this day, I'm fucking hyped just to see what episode it is.
Not only
They
that.
broke so many rules. So many rules, and the greatest, like cultural rules.
Yeah.
In the way sitcoms used to do so. Maybe they still do. I just don't watch them. But I love that show, and that is for sure on my rush.
Do you know what adds to the theme song of that?
Hmm.
Is what was happening on the video as it was playing.
I loved it. On
Him
the
tripping
golf course,
over,
him
the-
falling over the fence.
ropers.
The ropers are great. Even Don Knotts, when they brought Don Knotts in.
Yeah. So I like that one. So I had to pick between two in the same genre and the same era.
So we're about to have controversy?
So for me, it was between Happy Days and Laverne and Shirley.
Oh. Okay, I know
So,
which one.
and I couldn't pick both. And I know which show I liked more. But I'm not picking the show, I'm picking the theme song.
Can I guess?
Sure.
Don't say yes or no yet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing Laverne and Shirley because they got some cool words there in the middle.
You are 100% correct.
Schlemiel. I don't know what they say, but it's amazing.
Schlemazel. Huff and Incorporated. I mean,
We're gonna do it. Yo, I'm with you on that because I never knew what they said, but all me and my buddies over here, Schlemiel, Schlemazel, Puffin, Schlaffen, like we didn't know.
And you
the
went up and
fucking
down,
words.
you did the whole thing.
Didn't matter.
Yeah. And again, what
That's
I add in is what you're seeing as the credits roll. When you're watching them introduce the characters, all of that adds into that. Happy Days, listen, I can't argue, it's a great theme song, and the Fonz, but who said Schlemiel, Schlemazel? Nobody but Laverne and Shirley.
No.
They're on my Mount Rushmore.
Do they have to have lyrics or can it be music?
I have one just music.
All right. Then
And
this-
you can do cartoons too?
Well, this one is.
Okay.
It is a cartoon that is so good and created so many great characters that Warner Brothers and DC have taken these characters that weren't even in comics and put them in movies. And it was Batman the Animated Series, and this song goes like this. And it's actually John, who you guys know at this point, it's the ringtone when he calls me. So John, could you send me a text? Thank you. And then it'll come up. But it is probably my favorite theme song of all time.
Really?
My son and I sing it every time we watch the show together. And make sure my phone is okay. And when he texts me, everybody else will get to know it.
So good.
Dun, dun. Wait, here comes the explosion at the bank when the guys try to rob it. Ready? Here it comes. Boom! Oh, they're robbing the bank, but don't worry, Batman's on the way.
Freddie.
They try to escape to the roof of the building, but Batman's there. He pulls a gun, Batman throws a boomerang. He ducks a punch and kicks the other guy and throws him down. Dun, dun, dun. I know the whole thing.
You know what would be a lot of fun?
What?
Is if we wrote words just like you had to that theme song and then put it out. Just for fun.
That would be cool.
That would be a lot of fun.
That's my number 2.
Okay, I will do my non-lyric one now,
Nice.
which is a no-brainer for me. It's the Hawaii 5-0 theme song.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, so good!
That actually made me think of the Miami Vice theme song, which is pretty damn good too.
Well, the Miami Vice one and the Hawaii 5-0 to me was like
But
hard
that's
to
not
pick.
going on my list.
Hard to pick, but I go Laverne and Shirley, Hawaii 5.
Okay. My number 3 is not a cartoon. But it is also all music. But I was obsessed with this TV show. Not a sitcom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure it was an hour-long show. Could have been a half hour, but I'm pretty sure it was an hour. And I loved all these guys. They were awesome. And the song goes like this. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 cha, cha, chong. Dun, dun, dun. So the A-Team and the end when it would go GEGGHEAD with the bullets, that was the best. So A-Team, number 3. Thank you very much.
All right, so this, there will be a lot of discussion about these, by the way. I mean,
There'll be some controversy.
there'll be some controversy. Some people are going to bring up growing pains. They're going to bring up family ties.
Don't throw too many out there. You might spoil one of mine.
I have to. I just have to put Animaniacs in there.
Yo, that's great. I think I still know the whole song by heart.
Yeah, I mean, for me,
We're Animaniacs.
I mean,
And we're zany to the max.
how could you not? And you would run into the room like, oh my God, is that song right now?
We have pay-for-play contracts. We're Animaniacs. Me, Piggy, and the brain of the world rule the universe. When feathers flock together, Slappy whacks them with her purse. Buttons chases Mindy. While Rita sings a verse. We have no script. Why write a script? Why bother to rehearse? We're Animaniacs. Dude, I can't believe I remember the words to that.
See this, everybody? This
While
is,
Bill Clinton plays the sax. We're Animaniacs.
oh, when you cut to Clinton playing sax is always good. But it's that song. Everybody I knew at the time, especially, knew the words to that song.
Yeah. I think I'm weird with cartoons, though. Because I remember a lot of that stuff.
Wait, did you
I still remember the He-Man opening speech.
go?
Oh, well, maybe I don't. Well, okay.
That's all right.
Hello, I'm Adam, Prince of Eternia. Magical powers were given to me the day I held aloft my enchanted sword and said, by the power of Grayskull, I have the power! Cringer became a mighty battle cat, and I became He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe, baby. Well, that was more Alexander Slim.
That's all right. I like the combination of Kojak and He-Man.
Baby, that's it. I'll bop you with this lollipop,
Baby. All right, so I've got Animaniacs, Laverne and
good.
Shirley, and Hawaii Five-O.
That's good. Okay, my fourth one. I'm not going Magnum PI, but I love Magnum. I love Magnum.
Great one.
Not going Magnum PI. I'm not going Smurfs. And the Smurfs is probably the most memorable
Great one.
cartoon song. Well, not over Warner Brothers, like Bugs Bunny, but like as far as like intro songs, that whole la
Yeah.
la la, like that's the only lyric. That's the only damn lyric.
Through the huge.
So it's hard for me to say no to that. So for my last one, I'm gonna have to go to a sitcom from the 80s that everybody knows.
Mhm.
And if you don't know the song, you at least know this part. Cause it takes different strokes.
Yeah.
It takes different strokes. It takes different strokes for the world.
Yeah,
Yes, it
I love it.
does. It takes. You sing the high one for me.
Different strokes.
Wow.
Different strokes.
No, I thought you were gonna do it good.
No, I can't do it.
I've heard you sing well when you want to. You sung that shitty on purpose.
No, not on purpose. I smoked like 8 joints last night.
I thought you said. Oh, you said you didn't do an edible.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen closely.
Here I was just frustrated with you. I didn't know you had an excuse.
Yeah, no. It's just 8. I smoked 8 joints last night.
Oh yeah, you had a highlight.
I had a
last
highlight
night.
last
You
night.
weren't straight.
No, I talked for an hour
You
straight by
smoked
myself.
8 joints in an hour.
No, I did smoke 3 though. I smoked because
How did-
I got 2 different kinds of weed. I wanted to smoke one of just that one,
That's what- right.
one of just the other, and then I grounded them up and made
Oh, like a little
one of-
insalata.
So good.
Okay. Well, I hope you enjoyed your salad.
I think I definitely enjoyed the first half hour. The last half an hour was a little foggy.
You might have.
I'll go
Could've
back
been
and watch the
better.
tape.
What
I
do you
got
got
number
for the
4.
people?
This is an easy one for me. This was the no-brainer. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. No brainer.
Okay, I might remember all the words to this one.
That
too.
one to me is a no-brainer because it was so different
been
than
close to
anything I had ever. Not only was the show different than anything I'd ever seen, but the theme
Causing
song.
trouble in my neighborhood.
Was-
I got a one little fight. My mom said something.
You going to
She
live with
said,
your auntie
"You're
and
going to
Uncle
live with your
Bel-Air."
auntie and uncle in Bel-Air.
So good, so
Stepped
different.
out of the cab and said, "Yo, home, smell you later."
One of my favorites.
If you watch early episodes of that, it was this weird habit Will Smith had. If you watch in the wide shots or 2 shots, he says all the lines, like mouths all the lines that the other actor's saying while they're saying it. And I don't know how I don't know how they pulled that off. Like if I'm another actor and somebody was, I'd literally be like, dude,
Yo.
I gotta find a reason to look at a prop. Like this is, I'm literally like, can I just be looking for a remote control during the whole scene? Was that?
Can I
too
just
strong?
read a magazine while he's
I'm
talking?
telling you, man, it's a freakish.
That'd be distracting, right?
Oh yeah, that would mess me.
Do you
up.
have any honorable mentions? There's so many honorable
Family
mentions.
Ties would
Family
be an
Ties.
honorable mention.
Yep.
Smurfs would be an honorable mention for sure. They gotta be in there.
I honorable mention
I put
Happy Days.
They should be up there. I put G.I. Joe up there
I like
as an
it.
honorable mention. And then I got my final honorable mention. Maybe I should have even put them on the original 4. Is the Star Trek theme, man?
Yeah, dude.
The original. The original.
How do you not? Yeah, that's so iconic.
Maybe
right?
I fucked up there, but I'm happy with the choices I made.
But there's no fuck ups because it's all.
If I
personal
fucked
preference.
anything up, it was not putting Animaniacs first.
Animaniacs and Fresh Prince to me were so different than anything I had ever.
Yeah.
And they stick out for me. But tell everybody when we're going to be in Boston.
August 11th. The show's at 5 or 5:30.
8 o'clock.
The show's at 8 o'clock. Sorry. Oh yeah, I remember we used to have 2.
Yeah.
Show's at 8 o'clock. Get there early. We better fucking sell out. I'm assuming we'll be sold out.
I hope so.
A couple of the homies are going to be out there for us. There's also a convention going on in Boston that weekend. I will be there, so come by if you got cool Star Wars crap or something that you want signed. Doing photos and signings for you guys there. We got some new shit on GEGGHEAD getting ready to launch that you're involved with as well. A lot of new board game series for Impressment and Goliath Toys that you guys are going to love. These are adult board games, not like Candyland and stuff like that. So the content is more up there, so don't let your kids watch. And what you got for the people?
I'm going to come to the con.
I hope so, because
Yeah.
otherwise I'm doing the show alone.
No, I'm going to come to the con, like the con.
Oh, cool.
And talk to some people there, and then I'm off the road until August 11th. But in August, I'm doing a bunch of Michigan dates that people have been asking me about. So go to comedianjoshwolf.com for tour dates for everything through October. Everything's there. But I got Michigan coming up, and I got Orlando coming up, and I got Philly, and I got a bunch Chicago, a bunch of other places. Control Chaos, everybody.
Every Tuesday night.
At 7 o'clock Pacific time on my Facebook fan page, which is facebook.com/Josh Wolf Comedy. Guys, it's free entertainment. No politics, no social issues, all just fun, ridiculous stuff. It's me and my friends. I don't even know how to describe the show, but
It's like a nighttime talk show with a bunch of funny people talking about whatever you guys want.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No boring people, just funny and cool people.
Yeah.
You even have musicians on there saying songs fucking live, which is crazy and badass.
Yeah.
So yeah, check that out. Check us out on YouTube also at GEGGHEAD. You can see us play games there, board games, video games. We do comedy sketches, all kinds of dumb shit. And every episode of Prinze of the Wolf is there every single Thursday at 10 a.m.
Later.
All drama later.
Dude, it's interesting, man.